brain research is constantly being updated. So that was last year's slides. Look what we have now. This came out a month ago, the talking brain. And what you see is, yes, the same areas that we saw before. If we go back to this slide at the upper right-hand corner, you can see all the same areas light up, nothing new. Well, it turns out what these researchers did is they looked at 403 studies that had been done of speech and language and went through them with a fine-tooth comb. And what they found is it's not a uniform area of the brain that's activated when you're talking or listening, but 4 major areas are activated, and they're different. One area is very important for grammar. So one area is very important for understanding the difference between the boy hit the ball and the ball hit the boy. All of that is just which came first, which was the subject and which was the object. Now make it more complex and say the sphere that was traveling through the air at 62 miles an hour was being accelerated as it approached the child who was standing there with the... All of that requires grammar. Then we have meaning. We have to know what a sphere is. If we don't know what a sphere is, we have no understanding that that was a ball. Then we have phonology. We have to be able to hear all the sounds, and we have to process all the sounds separately. And we have to know if there's a past tense or a present tense. If I say the boy hits the ball versus the boy hit the ball, or the boys hit the ball versus the boy hit the ball, you have to process those sounds. And then finally, we have to understand intonational contour. It's called prosody. I have to know, is someone asking a question or are they making a statement? Is the dyslexia webinar today versus is the dyslexia webinar today? All of that is just sounds. And all of those areas of the brain have to be working seamlessly together, and they're processing the information that way. But another article just came out, and this is a whole journal now that came out last week. So I had, after I built this talk for you, I had to go back in and say, oh, I got to add this stuff. Whole journal, the Journal of Experimental Child Psychology, on the connections between oral language and word reading and spelling. And all that we've learned just in the last 6 months about how language supports reading and how reading is dependent on language skills. So what these articles talk about is how learning to read and spell are among the most important skills to be acquired in a child, because they're going to support all learning after that. And that language itself has cognitively very complex skills, but reading adds more complexity, and reading isn't innate. Oral language we learn if we're exposed to it, but reading, for almost all of us, we have to be taught, and it's a complex task. And rather than appear to be just built on oral language, what we're learning is that sound and print and meaning all have different components to being able to master them. And those components have to be part of our reading instruction, and certainly part of our assessments when we're assessing a child who's having trouble. So the special issue explores all the interconnections and all the new research between reading and spelling and language itself and sounds and grammar and meaning.